think that one of the things about Dan's humor is that he makes fun of things and he makes people see the funny side of things. And he's had that ability since he was 10 years old. He was the guy that farmers used to love to see coming down the lane because he was the guy, even at that age, who could show them what was funny about what they were doing. And you have to be able to laugh if you're a farmer, or otherwise you commit suicide. And so he's always had that capacity, but he does it without falsifying. And each time, each play has its real issues. In this case, we take a swipe at the insurance business, but we all know that's a real problem. That's not a phony problem.
Right.
And we've attacked the problem of the disappearing heritage. We've attacked the problem of the farm economy, and so on. And Dan is able to do this in a funny way, but not in a false way, and not in a stupid way. And the market for intelligent wit is, thank God, still out there.
Absolutely. Now, have you actually known him since you're that long?
Longer, actually.
So tell me about that relationship.
Well, we met playing ball hockey on the streets of Toronto. He was a neighbor in Toronto, but he spent half the year on the farm. His mother didn't believe in the education system, and she pulled him out of school in May and didn't bring them back till November. And eventually, my brother and I, the director Doug, visited and worked on that farm ourselves when we were kids. So, and Dad and I have been best friends since about the age of 10.
Wow. What's been the most surprising part of this whole Wingfield series, this journey that you've gone on?
Oh, there's no surprises. We knew from the beginning it was going to go on for 30 years and had 4,000 performances. And no, the whole thing is surprising.
Yeah. Well, it's been amazing. I'm sure it's good for you. It's really quite a piece of work that you've been working on,
and thank you all for staying.
Does anyone in the audience have any questions for
I was really sad to see Jimmy pass away, and I'm wondering if Jimmy might have a brother that just might come back.
Jimmy was Freddie's hired man. He was an old Irishman, and he Walt befriended him the first 2 years, and at the end of the second play, Jimmy dies. And at the time, Jimmy was quite pleased about this, because he thought it gave him a kind of special status. But he's been angry and angrier ever since, because we've done all these other plays and he's not in them. So we've learned not to kill off popular characters.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any politicians or any real people that you emulate for the roles, for your mannerisms and expressions, like especially the politician?
Are you a lawyer?
No, but I work downtown.
Any resemblance to any person living or dead entirely coincidental, and so part of the intentions of the authors.
The play has really affected you.
There is a little homage to a couple of politicians in Windy. Yeah, you may have recognized. Dan worked for about 10 years as an executive assistant to a cabinet minister in the Ontario government. So he's got a lot of material.
Yes, ma'am.
I've gone to Stratford for about 15 years, and one of my favorite actresses is Martha Henry. And I just wondered if you had any plans to work with her soon.
Martha was my wife, by the way.
Yes.
We worked together at various times. We have done and still do a play called Love Letters together, and we'll do that anytime anybody asks us, basically. But at the moment, she's running the conservatory at Stratford, and is in the Stratford Company, and I'm not. So that sort of rules it out for the time being. But down the road, yes.
Out of all the Wingfield stories, what's your favorite?
My favorite Wingfield story. I can't really afford to have favorites, but I genuinely find that my favorite play is usually the one I'm doing. I like them all. To me, they seem very different, and I like them all for different reasons. I used to compare them to pieces of music, and I thought that the first play is like is like Appalachian Spring. It's kind of crude in a way, but it has a great pioneer spirit. The second play is like a late Beethoven quartet with a real cello line in it, a sense of melancholy. That's the one where Jimmy dies. The third play is like a Bach concerto. It has that much counterpoint and that much variety in it. And you know, it goes on like that. And I love all that music. I love all those plays.
Any more questions? Yes, sir.
So can we count on you doing a repeat performance back here for us?
Are you coming back?
Yes.
Please, please.
In the words of the immortal Pierre Trudeau, just watch me.
Yes, ma'am.
I enjoyed the program about the sheep. Are you going to bring that back on TV again? Because my brothers made a sheep, a ram bed. When
Oh,
they were growing up.
the Ram.
Yeah, Pink
Who's,
Floyd.
Pink Floyd, yes. Pink Floyd's coming here next week, I think.
Actually, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Classic albums live.
No, there's no plans to bring Pink Floyd back, but the sheep do crop up in Walt's life. He is almost as unable to resist sheep as he is poultry.
Okay, we have time for one more question, ma'am.
Just wanted to say thank you for coming to Orangeville. We really love it when you're in our area.
Thank you for coming to Orangeville.
Thank you. Orangeville, of course, is probably ground zero for Wingfield, because one of the original newspapers that carried the column, Letter from Wingfield Farm, was the Orangeville Citizen, which at the time was, I think, 2 doors away from where we play now. It's also the only theater in the country where we can open on Broadway.
Okay, I have 2 last questions for you. The first one is, because Stir Magazine has to deal with the art of living, how would you define the art of living?
The art of living. In some ways, I think the art of living is sort of like the art of defensive driving, which is actually the art of not being there when the bad stuff happens.
Yeah. Last question, what was your favorite Rose moment of the evening?
Of this evening?
Yeah.
Favorite moment? Well, it's hard to put a finger on a favorite moment. I love when the audience understands about daylight saving.
I think everyone here understood it. Very good, Brampton. Amazing. Thank you very. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, I just did a run in Saskatchewan, and in a way, it's even funnier there.
Well, Brampton, it's Rose Theatre. Thanks you so much for performing here, and continued success. And we hope to see you back soon.
Thank you.